Oh my God.
Hey you, welcome back to my channel. It's me, JulianAlbino. So if you are considering moving to Mexico for either a long-term or short-term visit, this is definitely the video for you. Do not be like me. I really didn't do a lot of research before I came. I just knew I was ready to go. I booked the flight and I got here, and there were definitely some things I was not prepared for. So be sure to watch the entire video because I will also be sharing one additional tip at the end that could save you money. Let's get into it. All right, so tip number one. To me, this is the most important tip. I'm gonna put it at the beginning of the video because I cannot stress this enough. Make sure your cell phone is unlocked before you come. A lot of the phone carriers in the States do not have really good service here, or they just don't work at all. Like when I landed in Cancun, I took my phone off airplane mode. Inside of the plane, I had no bars on my phone. I'm thinking, maybe it's just because I'm at the airport and the service may be janky. So I waited like 30 minutes until I got outside of the airport. I still had no service. Honestly, to this day, my phone still has no service. I'm probably gonna have to, I'm gonna have to buy an unlocked phone. It's like $15 for the SIM card. You just pop it in if your phone is unlocked and you have service. So yeah, do not be like me. I cannot stress that enough. Come here with an unlocked phone so you can have cellular service here in Mexico. Okay, so tip number two is definitely one that I am still adjusting to. If I'm being completely honest, I am still not used to that, but I have noticed that the water here is not very hot, or it doesn't stay hot for very long. So when I arrived, I stayed in a hotel for about 1 week, and every single morning and night, the showers were literally lukewarm. But initially I thought, okay, maybe it's just a hotel. They have an issue with their water temperature. I don't know. So I moved into an Airbnb for 2 days. The showers were literally brick cold. Like, it didn't even try to warm up. That was the worst shower experience ever. But luckily I was only there for 2 days before I moved into my current apartment. And the first thing I checked before moving in, before I signed anything or gave any money, I wanted to check the water temperature. So I turned the shower on for about 30 seconds, and it was warm. It was actually scorching hot. So I was really excited about that. So I moved in that day, and then that night I took my first shower, turned on my Ariana Grande, and realized the shower literally only stayed hot for about 1 minute and 30 seconds. By the time the song got to the chorus, it was literally cold. I got out the shower, called the owner, oh my God, the shower is cold. I am covered in soap, please come fix it. So he came out that night, he did something with the water boiler thingy. It still didn't work, but I was really appreciative for him at least coming out to try. So I called him the next morning. After I tried taking a shower again, it was still cold. So he actually replaced the water boiler. It is still cold. The water temperature will stay hot for about 1 minute and 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Then after that, you can literally feel it going from hot to warm to cold. So those 30-40 minute showers I used to take back in the States is definitely not a thing now. My shower time has reduced to 2 to 3 minutes. I'm in and out. But there is a silver lining to all of this. One of my Facebook friends actually told me that cold showers are better for your skin. So I'm trying to lighten this up a little bit. But yeah, just be mentally prepared and mindful that the hot water, the temperature may not be the best here in Mexico. But I am curious, I'm here in Merida, Mexico, and I've only been here, Guadalajara, and Cancun. And I realized the water temperature has not been very hot, or it doesn't last for very long. So if you are in Mexico in another city, comment below and just let me know how the water situation is there. All right, so tip number 3 is definitely another biggie. especially if you are afraid of cats and dogs. I do have to just warn you, they are out here in the streets. The dogs, they pretty much own the streets here in Merida, Mexico. I have noticed. Like, I don't own a car here, so I do a lot of walking. Everywhere I go, I pretty much walk. And on a daily basis, I mean, I see at least 3 to 4 dogs just out and about. But I will say, they don't really bother me. I think most times they're just looking for food and chilling, minding their own business. But they are out here, and it's some pretty big dogs. So sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, I'm gonna just wait until he walks by. But they have not bothered me. But I have been chased by one dog here. I was booking it. I had just ordered some tacos from this place called Cocina Rosita. And I'm just walking down the street. I have my AirPod in, and I just see the dog, and he's just looking at me. And once we made eye contact, he just took off and started chasing me. So I dropped my food and just took off. I was so mad about that food, but I had to get out of there. Now, I will say that the cats, that's a whole nother story. The cats are definitely a whole nother story. I went to a restaurant just last week. I'm sitting at the booth by myself, ordering my food, looking through the menu, and I notice a cat just comes in the door from outside, and he's just walking in the restaurant. So I'm like, does anybody see this? So then the cat walks over to this couple under their table, and he's just sitting there. And the entire time, I'm just looking at him like, what is he gonna do? Then I noticed he came over to my booth, and I'm like, get away from me, go. So at this point, I am literally in the restaurant screaming. And I'm like, oh my God, it's a cat. I'm like, gato, gato. They're all just laughing at this point. So I realized, okay, Julian, stop embarrassing yourself. So he jumps off the booth and just walks back into the kitchen. Walks back into the kitchen space, and no one freaks out. So I was honestly a little grossed out. So I actually canceled my order and left. But I reached out to a couple people here, and they actually told me the cats are sometimes like the owners of the restaurant, and they keep them there because they keep the mice away. So, I mean, I guess if you had to choose mice or cat, I would rather see a cat than a mice. But I'm just thinking, for sanitary reasons, that can't be the best. Like, especially for me, I am actually allergic to cat fur. So it really kind of grossed me out. And I've seen it at 2 restaurants where cats will just come in the restaurant, they go back into the kitchen, they walk around freely, and no one says anything. So just keep that in mind. That is a thing here. Okay, so tip number 4 is actually all about toilets. Here in Mexico, you cannot flush toilet paper or tissue down the toilet. The systems are not capable to handle actual toilet paper. You can clog the systems up, and that will cause a whole other nasty, icky issue. So you definitely don't want to do that. So I know you're thinking like, what do you do with the toilet paper? What about the smell? I mean, once you finish doing what you gotta do, this sounds so weird talking about. Once you finish doing what you gotta do, you just throw it away, you discard of it in the trash bin, and yeah, that's that. I will say there have been a couple of times where I wasn't thinking and I just did what I did and I flushed it. And right after, I'm like, ooh, I was not supposed to do that. So I'm still getting used to that. Please don't tell anyone, but yeah, just be mindful that you cannot flush the toilet paper down the toilet here. All right, so tip number 5 is actually about the cost of living here. Now, this is specific to Merida, Mexico, but in a whole, Mexico, the cost of living is a lot lower than back in the States. So what I was paying for rent back in the States is literally enough money to support my entire lifestyle here in Mexico for a month. Let me repeat that. What I was paying for rent alone, just my rent back in the States, could support my entire life here in Mexico. That includes my rent here, my food, utilities, gym, and any kind of fun activities I want to do. Is still less than my rent back home. For me, that is mind-blowing, and that's the number one reason why I moved here. I wanted to save money. After my workout, I walked down the street, saw a lady selling pollo, which is chicken. So I stopped and she literally gave me the whole chicken plus 2 servings of rice for only 80 pesos. That's literally like $3.90, and it's enough food to last me for lunch, dinner, and maybe a snack tomorrow. Like, you cannot find that back in the States. That's not even like a Bojangles tray back home. So the cost of living here is just mind-blowing. A lot of people think I'm just rich and I hit the lottery or something like that, and that's not the case. That is not the case at all. It's a lot more affordable here, but I do understand that affordable is a relative term. But for me, in my personal experience, the amount of money I am saving, I was not able to save that back in the States. Uh-oh, it's getting darker. But yeah, the final tip I have for you guys, this one will actually save you money on a day-to-day basis, and it's to try out the InDriver app. Now, this is not like a sponsored video or anything. It's just an extra tip to help you guys save a few extra dollars. But I found it to be a little more effective or cost effective than Uber. And what you do is you put in the amount that you want to pay, and it sends out to all the local drivers, and they can either accept that amount or counter offer back with another amount. So in this case, I was actually heading to Progreso Beach, which is about 25-30 minutes away, and I put in 150 pesos, and it sent out to all the drivers. And as soon as I saw the first one accept the 150 pesos, I clicked on that, and yeah, it cost me that to get to the beach, whereas Uber was charging literally double this amount to go to the same location. So definitely check this app out, download it if you are coming to Mexico to save you a couple coins. But yeah, I am starving now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I am about to go eat, and see you next time. Bye.